If you're a fan of the channel, you've probably seen me ride Glacier Ridge many times, but today we're going to be taking out the Grim Ripper and see how well a hardtail does at Glacier Ridge. I've heard a lot of people enjoy riding their hardtail here, so I thought I'd find out for myself. And it's a pretty warm day, starting to feel like spring finally, so I'm excited to go for this ride. Oh, it's looking like great conditions. Running about 18 psi in the front and like 20 in the back. No inserts. Oh, this is a good section. So I know I've only been riding this bike for a couple of months, but in all my travels, riding all over New York State, Glacier Ridge was high on my list of riding spots for this hardtail. Luckily, Glacier is only a 35-minute drive for me, so I can go here fairly often. And I've been perfecting all the little side hits and trail gaps scattered throughout to make it a great place to ride this steel hardtail. Alright, now we're gonna head into Sidewinder or CR83 North. This section's got a ton of tight turns, a lot of little rollers to do. Definitely one of my favorite sections in here. Whoa! You would think that pine needles over pretty sandy trails would be a recipe for disaster, but when everything is just the right amount of damp, it provides a great riding surface with lots of traction while taking the sting out of the small bumps in the trail. Oh, this section's really good. Getting back on the main blue loop is one of the best spots to practice some tight corners after you hit the CR83 sections. The conditions were really good today, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get the hang of cornering on this steel hardtail. The geometry is pretty aggressive with a 63.5 degree head angle, so I've been learning to load the front tire more and ride the fork a little bit more than I'm used to on a full suspension. And as we get further into the trail, we'll be hitting the ridges part of Glacier Ridge, which have the most prolonged downhill sections that this hardtail should feel great on. Oh, this is one of my favorite sections. This short little downhill is super loose and filled with small pebbles that make you feel like you're riding on marbles, but surprisingly I felt more in control than I thought I would. Just be careful of the baby head rocks that poke their head out at the bottom of these swooping sandy corners. So far this is feeling really good at Glacier Ridge. Kind of knew it would, but definitely feel like I'm starting to get better at manualing this thing. I still have the chainstay in the longer position. I do think I want to shorten it up a little bit soon, but I do kind of like the longer wheelbase. It makes it feel stable at speed, and you do get up to some pretty fast speeds here. But now we're heading into what comes up must come down, which is one of my favorite sections here, and we should get some good downhill in. Today is turning out to be a beautiful day. Glacier Ridge is definitely a trail system where I would recommend a wider tire and rim combo. I'm still rocking the 2.4 Specialized tires on a 40mm Bontrager rim, which totally balloons these tires out. The squareness of the tire actually felt really good on some of the extra sandy spots and helped make it feel like I was floating through it rather than sinking in. In the past, I have run 2.6-inch tires on 30mm rims on my Common Salmetta, and I've always enjoyed that size of tire at Glacier as well. These trails really don't have many roots or rocks, and so a wide rim and some lower tire pressures go a long way in making a steel hardtail super fun without being too harsh here. Plus, since there are very few sections with significant roots, it makes getting flats much less common when trying to go as fast as you can through these great flowing sections.
Right now we're finishing up on the main blue trail. It has some really good corners. Phew! There's the rock.
As we finish out the blue loop to the parking lot, I'll conclude by saying I had a blast riding at Glacier Ridge with the steel Grim Ripper, and if you have a steel hardtail, I'd highly recommend taking it out here on Long Island for some great flowing single track. Is it the fastest way to ride this place? No, probably not. We can leave that up to the guys on Trek Supercalibers and Specialized Epics, but you sure will have a smile on your face when you slalom through these sandy corners and bump jump off of the little roots scattered along the trail. Overall, this ride really brought to life what I hope to get out of this new steel hardtail build, and luckily there are more trails on Long Island to revisit that have a similar feel, like Overton and East Setauket.
Hit it with the skinny. Yeah. And there we have it, folks.